Hi Tea Society, welcome back to the Antisocial Planet. Today we are checking out Twice Momo Move Like That, and I am already scared. Not just because I've heard part of the song back when we got the minute and a half version, but also because it's Momo. And I'm not the strongest warrior, I've just accepted it. So this is going to be a lot. I'm just panicking deep within my soul. I need you to know that there is like a pterodactyl screech of gay panic in my brain. It'll be fine. I just need to take the deepest grounding breath. Okay, Momo, take my soul again. Why not? God, the bass. The drama. I'm gonna be honest, I blacked out a little bit. I was like, oh right, lyrics. Some of these are in English. I should be paying attention. And then I didn't, because she started with the lower voice. And I just feel like I would like to formally thank whoever's decision it was to not have Momo be a rapper in any capacity all of the time, because I don't think that I'd make it. It would push me over the edge. I think that that would be the end. I think me having a reprieve of her not doing this is like touching grass moment that I need. She doesn't need to have that much vocal fry. The percussion in this, obviously with the title of it, Momo being a dancer and going to be performing this, right? Having a percussion like that, the beat of this song has to be incredible, right? It has to be something that you can really play off of for that performance. I really didn't get any of the lyrics. My brain's not even working. Can you see that I'm buffering already? I really didn't get any of the lyrics, and I apologize. I will try to do better. No promises, but I will try. I look like strings. No. Ooh, I like that. Wow. Ooh, I know that I'm interrupting, but I love how everything slows down. We get that higher falsetto from her, but with that heavy percussion that's still happening, right? Like the beat pad that's still happening. It's a great contrast with those two things, especially since she's thinning out the sound of her voice. So I like that we're giving her production that she doesn't really have to fight with that lighter part of her voice. And it's a really great contrast. And also with the lyrics where we have we're in a crowd full of people, but it's a ghost town, right? That shift into that is, even though we're surrounded by people, I'm only seeing you, right? It's a ghost town. No one else is here as far as I'm concerned. So I like that we literally have that lift in her voice, and it's way less grounded of a sound, right? It feels like it's floating above everything, right? So I think having that huge jump is such a good narrative to put in, especially since the beginning is all of this momentum that I think also fits with one, the dancing and performance choreo stuff that's going to be happening, but also it's, I'm feeling all of these things at once, of the feeling of the music and the adrenaline and the kind of giddy feelings that you have when you meet someone that you connect with, and all of that kind of turmoil that's happening at the beginning, because there's so much going on with the way that she's describing, there's this and this and this and this, and we have that in the performance of her voice and having that lower part of her range, and then everything slows down. We have this lift in her voice, because it's none of all those things matter. The only thing that matters is that I'm paying attention to you and you better be paying attention to me. I love having that contrast between those two things. Also just really nice to see such a clear display of the range that she has vocally is also really nice. Ugh. I can't with her voice. of the layered vocals coming in. Ooh, little pause. There's so much going on in the production and I love it. But again, also this contrast in her voice. I like that she's talking about like the beat in her chest, and we have some of that coming of these like claps that are happening. And I love the stop in the production. And I think that it's also here where she's talking about, look, despite the fact that what I might personally feel about the lyric of "let my hips do the rest," putting it aside for the sake of analysis. But the contrast of instead of talking, instead of trying to explain an emotion, letting myself feel it and having it be more like in the dance and the performance. And again, for someone like Momo, who's an incredible performer, I'm sure that the actual performance is great for this as well. But having that be a moment of literally there's a break in the music. And I think that's also really fun with the story of this, where it's again the like ghost town, even within a crowd of people, or the sounds, it talks about like the sounds of like the world like disappear or whatever, right? Like we're having this jarring feeling of, even though there's all of this chaos happening around us, it all falls away, and the only thing that matters is like you and me and like dancing and like the expression of like emotion and personality like through performance, right? Like through the way that someone moves, through the way that someone dances, right? So I think that it's really fun to have that like literal break in the music while describing that. There's so much going on. There's strings and the like clapping kind of percussion that's happening. So much. Like my brain is trying to pick up on all of it because I love it. I think it works so well for this song, like more of a dance forward track, to have a bunch of those like fun production things in it. Right there. Wait, hear it properly. A little ba-da-da too. I love that too. We slow down for hypnotize. For personal reasons, I am going to have to rewind and hear that again. Thank you. I will not be explaining myself further at this time. Ooh, I love that we had, again, that pull it on like the hypnotize, right? Again, playing off of the way that we're contrasting her like falsetto with this lower part of her range. It's really fun to have such a huge contrast in her voice. I think that it's a great way of showing off like her like vocal talent, while also again adding into that kind of like jarring feeling of there's so much happening and then it all falls away when we have these like falsetto moments and the production slows down and gives space to that vocal. I think that it's really a fun way of like going along with the narrative of the song while also still having these moments where it's very like dance beat forward. But I also love that we have the repetition there with the vocals layered in, because it has this like rhythm to the way that the performance is happening with those like repeated lines, and I think that will translate really well to like dancing. But I think it's also a fun narrative thing of like literally nothing else matters, taking away any kind of like complex narrative elements. Like I was saying at the beginning, we had like all of this description to set up the like vibe of the song and kind of the environment. It's almost like an establishing shot, right? Like we get all this description of kind of what's the like feeling and vibe of the song in the first verse, and then this verse is literally none of that matters. My eyes are on you, your eyes had better be on me. This is a bit like the dance and the performance, and then to have this really like rhythmic, the vocal is almost another layer of percussion, I think also fits with that. Even like the repetition of like getting those like G sounds and like T sounds almost feels like that, again, another layer of like a beat pad or something, right? There's like a horn sound that comes in. What is this? Flute? Synth. I get hypnotized, baby. I love that scoop on me as well. Not you having that build up and then you just pull out all of the production. Again, really playing around with those moments of suspension almost, right? Like between her lightening up her vocals, taking out like production elements there, like pulling out basically all of it. I think that's it's a fun way of, again, going with the narrative of everything else falls away except for like the performance. I think that you can play with that so much in a live performance, and I think that it's like building suspense in the story, right? Like it's a fairly simple narrative, but the way that they're playing with it, I think, is adding so much like dimension, and like having that those moments of suspension of being like, I don't know, held breath within like a strong emotion or a performance or something that's like captivating someone, especially since there's like continued motif of hypnotizing someone, right? So that moment of like pulling someone in, and that's what you do in those moments of like suspense where like we're literally all like, when is the beat gonna come back in, when like we're all holding our breath to be like, what's gonna happen next? And you can again play with that in a live performance. I feel like, as much as I have a lot of feelings about this, is just, is Momo a wrecker? Is she a bias? Do I have a bias in Twice anymore? I don't know. I feel like I'm in denial. I feel like at a certain point I bias enough of the members that it's arbitrary. I feel like, besides that, delighted by just like the construction of the song. I can already picture all of the fun ways that you could play off of it in a live performance. Maybe that's some of it too. It's just like the performer part of my brain is, oh, I bet this part's really good, or oh, you could use that. Like the musicality, there's so many different elements in the production. Like I was saying, there's so many little things that you can play off of in terms of like motifs and musicality and the storytelling that you can lean on for different parts of it, which I think it was probably super fun in the performance, as much as I don't know if I'm strong enough to watch a live performance. I bet everyone does a really good job. I like we have that synth coming in too. For personal reasons, I'm gonna need her to not sing the line, "We can do it all night," in any context, ever. I like that we have all these little like flute, horn, synth things happening. I think that it makes a fun overall sound. I'm sorry, my brain is rebooting. We're fine. Everything's fine. I don't know why you would question anything else. Just to make sure I don't miss anything. Oh, what was that one more time? Do the like pluck kind of synth. Ooh. Sorry, like there's the little plucking kind of sound in the synth, which was really fun. And then I feel like we had a breath intentionally put in there. Am I wild? Maybe it's just one of the vocals in the back. Excellent. Oh, it's so fun when it all comes. Sorry, it's so fun when it comes in, because we literally have that like build up with, I don't really know what that's called production wise because I'm not a producer. The like pitch up or whatever of like the synth. and then it all pulls out. I think, again, it's such a good way of like directing the narrative, having this held breath of suspension, because you're following that slide up of that synth and you're like, I know how this works. The bass and the percussion is going to come back in, and you're following that lead, right, of the synth, and then it all just pulls out and you're like waiting in this suspense of when's the beat come back in. So I think it's just so well put together. Love all the layered vocals too. Oh, I like that we got like a lower range there in the last one, because we have that kind of higher that we've been getting from her, and then having the, I'm sorry, just make sure I'm not missing something right at the end, but we have that like higher range of her vocal, and then at the end there we had the lower as well. I think, oh, just, it's so well put together. Like, I think that she probably does an incredible performance from this. I can already like picture it just in the way that the song is put together, and there's so much momentum in the like more dance production parts of the song in contrast to those kind of suspended moments. I think that there's so much potential to do a bunch of different things with that and really showcase who she is as a performer. But then also, I love that there's so much range here from her. I don't know how, like, generally how people feel about Momo and like her vocals, but I like them a lot. So I don't know how people feel about her like as a vocalist, but I feel since she's not, I feel like someone who set up in a bunch of the TWICE songs to have those really like show-stopping vocal moments, that I really like that we're getting a moment here in her doing a song by herself where she's showing literally like two different sides of her range with a huge shift in between them. It's definitely something tiring to put into like a live performance, but I think that it's such a good way of showing how much dynamic she can bring to just the vocal side of her performance, right? Like the fact that I can picture so much of what this might be in a stage performance just from listening to the audio, I think shows how much she's putting into her vocal performance on its own. And I love that we're getting that in like a song, like really getting to hear a bunch of it, like lower range, higher range, but just a huge jump and shift between those two things, like a softer sound in contrast to the like vocal fry, like more like melodic kind of rap moments in her performance, right? Like just almost like two opposite performances put into the song. And I think that it goes really well with the narrative, like I was saying, of like all of the chaos of being in a space where there's like dancing, almost like a club environment, right? Because we're talking about like a crowded place, right? A place where you would be like out dancing, having all the chaos of that, and then it all falls away and we have this very like light, airy, slower, suspended moments within the song, going with those moments of all that falls away, none of it matters, right? So I love the way that it was all put together. And probably the performance is just so good. Such a good song. Like, I think that it's such a fun beat. Again, going with the like dancing performance, I think that it does a really good job of leaning into that and just having so much momentum to the song. Like, I feel once it started, it was just like going at full speed, and then having those moments where everything slowed down just really had an impact. And I might just have to risk it all and watch a live performance of this. I don't know if I'll make it, but what a way to go out. If that has to be how this ends, I think it's worth it. But I think that I'm just too fascinated as, again, not just as a fan, TWICE and Momo, but also as someone who performed on stage. I'm just so curious to see what they do with this, because I think that it definitely is a song made with the intention of there's going to be a performance. And there are so many little things in it that I feel like will be super fun to just play off of and bring into how this performance works. And like the narrative is so centered around people dancing together and a performance being a way of expression as opposed to like words, that I think it's really fun. And I love not just Momo being able to show off a bunch of her vocal range, but also I like that her voice worked as part of like the instrumentation in some ways. It showed off, yes, some of that vocal range, but I like that she kind of sat in the production in a lot of ways, and that it was more about the way that she was saying things and like the beat of the melodies, as opposed to doing anything like super deep lyrically with this one. Again, like the cadences that she was using and the way that her voice worked as another like percussion or beat within the production, I think is also really fun, of being like, again, it's more about playing around with like the sonic performance of it as opposed to like the lyrics and like the deeper meanings to it. Like I feel like the lyrics were more simplistic than some of the other Twice songs that I've heard, or even like stuff that I've heard from Momo. It was more about the way that she was singing them. I feel like was, again, more about expression through musicality and performance as opposed to using words to explain things. And I think that goes with the narrative of the song. So maybe give me links to a good performance or a video out there of her performing this, and maybe you'll hear from me again. Who knows? But I hope you enjoyed listening to that along with me. You can click this playlist to go and see my previous reactions, or you can subscribe so next time I post a Twice reaction. I will see you in the next video. Bye.